Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Podcast Assemble, the show where we talk about all of our geeky interests, and show where we talk about movies, TV shows, comic books, and video games. My name's Tommy, and I'm delighted, as always, to be joined by my friend and co-host from across the pond. It's DL.
How are we, Tommy?
Hello, mate. How are you?
Tommy, I never knew. Did I say your last name? I shouldn't say it because it's a podcast.
Probably not. I'll call you out afterwards. Okay. It's a tough
one to say. I don't know if I've ever said it correctly.
Yours.
Yeah, well, mine's actually really hard to
yours
say.
Yours is French, right?
Yeah.
Your
I'll call you
French.
TP.
TP.
If I'm TL, you can be TP.
Christ. All right, fine.
Oh, God.
I've had that my entire life. It's worse that I have two middle names, so I actually have the longest name of all time. It's like, I feel like my parents intentionally did it so that I would keep saying it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. Nothing to do with like your gran or...
No, absolutely nothing. No, I don't think so. I think the story, and they'll probably correct me, is that they had a middle name in mind for me, and both my brothers wanted to give me a middle name, so they were like, fuck it, just give him two.
Give him two. We can't decide.
It's too much effort to try and like convince them to have it otherwise, you know?
Yeah.
What have you been up to, buddy? What's happening?
Oh, same old, man.
Happy Easter. Oh, did you see any good April Fools online?
I didn't see any good April Fools online. I'm surprised as well. Actually, there was one I saw, and now I can't remember what it was, but I know that it was good. Did you? Obviously, you did. You were
no, I didn't. I'm at the point where I'm part of the embargo where people are like, fuck this. Like, everyone does it. Like, Google turns its screen upside down.
No. YouTube
says it's gonna blow up. What? And I'm just like, no one believes you. Stop it.
I saw something come out like about Alan Wake 2, that game we talked about long ago.
Yeah.
And it was on April Fools, and like
that
the community got all excited. I don't know if it was or not, but I was like, these poor people.
Devastated.
They really want this game. Like, I could care less, to be honest. It wasn't that great. But like, it's got a cult following. It's okay. And these people were really bummed. I saw that. I mean, thankfully, the third year in a row, Gail didn't get me with the I'm pregnant thing. She got me 2 years previously, so shame on me for getting me twice, but definitely not the third time.
I literally don't know how to even react to that. That scares the shit out of me.
She started talking about it like 2 days before, like, oh, I'm feeling sick. I was like, oh, that must be because you're pregnant. She's like, you got me.
I'm not sure that's cool.
She was trying to lead me through. I don't think it's cool at all. But
that's not a good one.
But this is coming from the girl who got me fucking a surprise party or a surprise gift of skydiving.
True.
So like that's also not cool. Like you're just forcing someone to do
really
something.
Throwing you all over the place.
So
this is essentially an emotional like
roller coaster over here.
She's torturing you,
between
bro.
That and my caffeine headaches, mate.
Blink twice if it's emotional torture.
There's no video, so you guys can't see. Anyway, I've been not doing much. I mean, I've been watching Superstore, actually. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Oh, I've heard
it's
of
on Netflix.
Yeah.
I was not like Gail was like, oh, just put something on what we eat. And now I'm full addicted, like office level addicted. It's pretty good. Like we watch an episode every couple days.
It's like good looking bloke joins a store, right? And
it's like following a Walmart or like a Target.
Yeah.
And like what the employees in the middle America though, like the worst one, right? Like in the middle of, I think it's like St. Louis. And it's like, here's what, the life in of a superstore employee is. It's really funny. There's some characters. It's very like office-y vibe in the sense that it's not like biopic, but just like you can just spin through them. Like Friends or that. There's like 8 seasons, I think. So
I think it was on in the background while I was around like a couple of times. I was like, I don't care.
I mean, you got to watch it. You got to get into the characters and the humor, but it's goofy and funny.
Here's my deathbed confession. I never actually watched The US Office.
That's fair, but like you watched Friends, you watched like any kind of good comedy sitcom you can enjoy. You'd enjoy this.
I'm surprised because when I say that to people, most people are like, "Oh my god, burn him, he's a witch." And I'm like,
The Office is great, but it's not as good as I think people make it out to be.
Okay,
it's still good though. Steve Carell, like there's like really, really, really good episodes. Like there's certain episodes that are fucking funny.
I think it's interesting because it's probably one of the only shows that's maybe including Shameless. I haven't seen that either. That started off as a UK TV show that you guys took it over. The Americans took it over and did like almost a better job with it. Not saying that it's better than the UK one.
It was more successful.
Like, it's long. I mean, they just carried it on for longer. Like the UK one's like 4 seasons, right?
I don't even think so. I think it's like 2 or 3.
I think it's 3 or 4. Anyway, doesn't matter. What does it matter?
Yeah. Point being, that's what I've been watching, and then I finished up The Last of Us and the
sick.
DLC.
You finally finished it?
Yeah, I did.
You want to do a bit of spoilers for the?
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
He doesn't die.
He doesn't die.
I was so convinced he died.
Oh shit!
I was so convinced he died.
I can't believe I kept myself stunned.
Yeah,
when you were
I was
talking
like
about
the
it.
whole game. I was like, and then there's like this one point where you fall on like this spike, which honestly, the way you fall on the spike in the game,
should have killed you.
He would be dead.
Yeah,
like it was like through his gut.
Video games.
But anyway, I was pretty surprised, and honestly, really cool twist at the end.
Great
there.
twist.
Well, and I should have been expecting it, but I wasn't. Like it actually. It's really one of the few ways that story could have gone.
It's a really
but
good look at
but it's still surprising.
the human experience, right? Do you want to explain what that is?
So yeah, you basically, I mean, The Last of Us. This podcast isn't on it today. It's not the main topic, but we'll give it a go.
Give it 30 seconds.
It's really a great human story about like a guy who kind of refines his humanity in this post-apocalyptic world by like befriending and basically taking this girl across the country in this like war zone.
Classic zombie story.
Classic zombie story. Humans, cannibals that want to kill you, steal your stuff, zombies that want to kill you. And it's just a nail biter the whole way through. Really intense game. And the reason he's taking her across is because she's immune to whatever this
zombie thing is.
It's actually, they call it the cordyceps. It's like
it's actually based on a real thing.
Yeah,
it's based on ants can get it. And I've actually seen
fungus.
it on, I've seen it on one of the Life on Earth, so one of those.
Yeah, same
and it like bursts out of their heads and stuff. It's crazy. Anyway, sorry.
Insects, I don't even think it's just ants. I think it's
I'm generalizing.
Anyway, it's gross. And she's immune to it. And so he's taking her across the country to this like kind of lab where there's apparently like this sect of people called the Fireflies. It's almost like this new government
who are going to
help create a cure, right? And he gets there, and he's throughout this journey, he went from like ruthless guy to kind of like a dad again, because he lost his daughter when the zombies first came tragically in the beginning, and you see basically. The end result is actually she will have to die to get her. So
essentially, have to sacrifice her to make.
Have to sacrifice her to even have a chance at finding a cure, and there's no guarantee.
And the big twist is at the end that you are forced as Joel, as the main character, to save her, and get her out of there and kill everyone, and also basically kill humanity's hope. Literally,
at a cure.
It's crazy.
Saving this world, and then he actually lies about it.
It's a really good game.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm a huge fan of it.
I really am excited to play the second one,
right?
Yeah, I'm gonna save it for a bit because it was.
I'm intrigued. I'd like to tell me about the second one as you go because I'm never gonna play it, and I'd be interested.
Why wouldn't you play it? It's apparently better in every single way.
Just not very good at shooting games.
Put it on easy.
Like just no good.
If you like the first one, surely.
I like the storyline of the first one.
Storyline is phenomenal, man.
What have I been doing this week? Yeah, like 2 weeks. It feels like forever. Obviously, we'll maybe have a little chat about Falcon and Winter Soldier in a moment. I've watched a couple of those.
Falky
and Bucky boy. I was telling you this a moment ago, but after watching the 75 hours of Justice League, Zack Snyder, I had a massive jonesing for DC content. So I
didn't get your fill in that.
Obviously not. No, I went and bought Final Crisis, which is a big storyline. Justice League storyline in the comics, including Darkseid, which was kind of the reason I went to buy it. And I'm very quickly realizing why I don't read DC comics that regularly. Because I feel like you have to create all these contrivances to get rid of... Because every hero's overpowered.
They're not good?
No, they're overpowered, every single one. Superman.
No, I mean the comics.
Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman... They're all so overpowered. Green Lantern, that you have to get all these contrived reasons to get them out of the picture, so that there can be a narrative story. And then Darkseid himself is so powerful. It's like, what the fuck is the point in this?
What is his power?
Everything. He has everything. He has all the powers.
That's dumb.
I don't want to say. I don't want to pretend I know exactly what his powers set out because I would get absolutely torn to pieces for it. But he's just fucking really powerful. And then I actually so I've been reading one of them. It's fine. It's good. I actually know the ending annoyingly. I accidentally flipped through it, and I was like, "Oh wait, I didn't know."
To the end.
I was putting it down, and it like flipped open, and I saw the final one of the final images, and I was like, "Oh, I know what happens in this. I've paid all this money, and I already know." I like the ending.
Bummer.
But yeah, I watched a thing. I think I mentioned this last time called Solar Opposites. So it's Justin Roiland, the dude who is one of the Rick and Morty writers.
He did talk about this.
He does all the voices. Yeah, he does all the voices for. I think he does Rick's voice, Morty's voice, pretty much all of them. And
usually it's one guy that does all the voices. How crazy is that?
Crazy. It's really good. It's his own sort of. It's similar vein. It's not I wouldn't call it a cartoon. What would you call it? It's like an animated show where it's these.
It is a cartoon.
These 4 aliens have landed on Earth and they're going through and they're finding out about humans and stuff. One of them's a Rick character. One of them's like a very chill Zen character. Then we've got 2 like kid versions. It's actually pretty funny. Like it's very similar, the humor, to Rick and Morty, but it's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Well, anyway, segueing nicely then into Have You Heard this week? I thought instead of going through all the news for the last 2 weeks, because obviously we took a week off last week, we could maybe just talk about a couple of trailers that came out, because there's 4 pretty big ones that dropped.
Yeah, well, Rick and Morty was one of them. That
segueing
you just,
into Rick and Morty.
touched on, which will look, honestly, probably of all of them.
Season 5.
I would give it my second favorite of all.
All right,
of them.
we'll talk about the 4, and then we'll talk about which order you are excited about them in. Okay,
but
so it's Rick and Morty. We've got the Suicide Squad. We've got the Loki trailer, and we've got Black Widow.
They're all pretty good.
The trailers look great. Like I'd actually completely fucking forgotten about Black Widow.
How do you forget about it? They announce it every fucking week.
I completely forgot it was happening.
The reason I'm not as into it is I'm like, okay, this will be cool, and I like Scarlett Johansson, but it's not going to progress. It's such a prequel. Like surely it can't tie that much.
Well, she can't die, so what?
Yeah.
All it can really do
I just mean like they can maybe introduce some new characters that come up later, but like I don't even know if they will they?
Who knows? Maybe. I was literally just looking at the IMDb for it a moment ago, and it's got Thaddeus Ross in it, who is obviously the bad guy from the Incredible Hulk movies. He was the guy who introduced the Sokovia Accords. He's a big deal in the comic books. But yeah, like I'm kind of intrigued for this. It's coming out in July. That was one of the actual pieces of news that we didn't get to talk about last week, was that this is now coming to streaming as well. So
at the same time,
you got to pay the $30, whatever it is.
Okay.
And you can get it on Disney Plus.
Will you pay?
I don't know. I'd quite see it at the cinema.
Yeah.
Would you not?
Yeah, if we can. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're in Sydney. We should be fine. I'd like to see it at the cinema. I think cinema experience for me, we're going to talk about it probably a little bit when we get into our main feature, but the cinema experience for me is still the best way to watch things. Like it's so easy to be distracted while you're watching something. Like when we were in the cinema watching this week's main topic, like there was a dude on my right, like way far to my right, and he looked at his phone for like 5 seconds, and it completely threw me out of the movie.
You were pissed.
I wasn't pissed. I was just thrown out of the movie. I was like, where am I? What do we do? Anyway,
that movie was fucking. Anyway, we'll get to that later.
Well, what was new in the Black Widow trailer then? There wasn't a lot new.
There wasn't much new. It was kind of all the same
David
stuff.
Harbour.
I think the Taskmaster. We
saw a little bit more of him as well.
You saw more of him than you did in the other one.
You're getting to know him from the Spider-Man game.
I am playing Spider-Man. He's fun to fight in Spider-Man.
He is
because he's actually like
and
hard.
He learns your moves.
Yeah, he's like more of a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm playing that on hard, by the way. And it's I die a fair amount.
Yeah, it's a good game. I've played it on normal and hard. I think.
Yeah.
I think I would probably recommend playing it through on normal first.
I kind of like the challenge. Like even in The Last of Us, I played it on like hard.
Oh yeah,
and it was like more fun.
Well, I'm excited to see some of the other characters that are going to be in the Black Widow movie. Obviously, we've got Florence Pugh.
So we barely talked about Rick and Morty though.
I was going to come back to that in a second. Yeah. We've also got Florence. Can I butcher that name any worse? We've got Florence Pugh, but we've also got Rachel Weisz. You know, she's from The Mummy. She obviously has a long career in lots of different things. Yeah, Rachel Weisz.
Which one? The Mummy, the original?
Surely.
Was she a kid?
Or am I?
No, she might have been. I don't know.
Am I talking about the wrong person? Yeah, Rachel Weisz. She's the
Mummy Returns.
She's the dark-haired character.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh my god, she's great in that, alongside Brendan Fraser, who might come up later on. Little spoiler for later in the podcast. God. I'm excited to see everything. So everything in the trailer to me, hints at her being a little bit pissed off at Natasha's character. So I wonder if she's gonna turn on her, or she's gonna backstab her or something. I'm intrigued to know what that character's gonna do. Okay. Because it seems like Florence Pugh's character is very much in awe of Black Widow, shall we say?
Got it.
Anyway, thoughts?
Look, I like the trailer. I'll see it in cinemas for sure. Cool. It's a proper Marvel movie. I'm down. Brendan Fraser has had a tough go of it. I'm looking at George of the Jungle versus now, and it is. He's a good-looking bloke.
He's had some hard times. Yeah. Okay, Rick and Morty. Talk to me. Coming out 20th of June.
That was the best trailer, for sure. They were freaking great.
It's the classic Rick and Morty
I was cracking up the whole time.
Yeah,
it's good. It was like, it's got me excited to watch more Rick and Morty. But like, Rick and Morty is one of those things where I just kind of like forgot that it existed for a while.
No, how can you do that?
Because like, it's not something I rewatch a lot.
I can rewatch it.
You can rewatch it. I just haven't.
Okay.
And because of that, like it doesn't come out as often as other cartoons. Like
Fair.
so, I just forgot that it was a thing, and now I'm excited again.
Well, I
which is good.
I was actually a little let down by the last season, and I know that's the really obvious thing to say, and that's pretty much stereotype, but probably not for the same reasons. Not because like it didn't progress the story as much, or you know whatever. It wasn't. I actually really enjoyed like what they did with the story. I actually preferred what they did with it because they subverted expectations, which is what Rick and Morty does.
Yeah.
I just wasn't. I thought they spent 4 seasons or 3 seasons getting to the point where Jerry was out of the family, and just to skip it round and bring him back.
That's
in,
like such a cartoon thing that they're gonna have to do.
I don't know. It just kind of annoyed me. I thought it could have been either a longer build to him getting back into the family, or
fair enough.
Just something different. Like I'm a little bit bored of that being the dynamic that they're sick of. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
This
you were okay with him being somewhere else.
Yeah, this trailer makes me think Summer's going to be a bigger part of this story.
Probably.
Which is interesting. There's a very cool bit when he Morty's carrying him and he's like unconscious and bleeding or whatever, and he's like, he sees all these portals to their different dimensions, and there's one where they're like blades.
Oh god,
like
yeah, and he's like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's such a fucking sick scene.
Yeah,
I'm excited for more Rick and Morty. I actually did watch one of the Rick and Morty episodes just last night because I got excited. I will rewatch this trailer and getting ready for this podcast, and I was like, oh yes, I want to watch an episode of Rick and Morty. Do you know the one where he goes in the brain analyzer? First episode of season 3, the one they released after absolutely ages. And he destroys the government basically. He kills all.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Like the intergalactic government.
That one, whatever they're called. Yeah, that was such a good episode.
And there's a bunch of different versions of him.
Fucking great.
That was a great
so
episode.
good. All right, okay. So Loki coming out June 11.
Awesome.
This trailer looks fucking phenomenal.
It just looks awesome. It's gonna weave into everything.
It doesn't give you it doesn't give you too much. It gives you enough.
It almost feels like it's gonna be like a Suicide Squad-esque.
Nah, I don't think so.
No, in the sense that like the concept of you're at our disposal to help us fix this. Like, and if you don't, you die.
Very maybe.
You know,
I love the idea of that.
Yeah.
Like, I love that Owen Wilson's in the fucking MCU.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Wow, I fucking love it. He's just he is so good in this.
Yeah,
like he's made for that role.
You have literally backstabbed 50 people. I've watched it happen.
It's great, and I think it's gonna like.
I can change. Is that what he says, or something like that?
It's going to build a part of the MCU that we never thought we'd ever get to see, and it's so interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll bring him back, or if this is just his last run.
Owen Wilson?
No.
Loki in general.
Like if at the end of this or if this is just going to be a reoccurring show where he's doing.
Well, this isn't the version that we had in the original timeline. So he hasn't gone through all the heartbreaks that original Loki went through. So remember, this is
it's the Loki that's like just after Avengers. He's still a twat.
So he's
still a major twat.
He's still a shit.
That being said, like he was a shit even after like a couple heartbreaks.
He'd grown, right?
Did he?
Yeah, he grew as a character.
Literally in Ragnarok, he tries to betray them again.
I don't think this Loki...
That's right before.
I don't think this Loki would help out at the end of Ragnarok the way that Loki does.
Yeah, maybe.
I just my personal opinion. There was some little controversy about this week. There is a scene where you see Loki speaking to someone who a lot of people originally thought was Natasha Romanoff, as in like the Black Widow. Mm-hmm. There's a scene when he's like face to face and she's got like dark hair, but it seems likely that's actually going to be like an alternate dimension Loki, just in a female version, which would be cool. I'd love it if we got to see loads of different versions of him.
Woman Loki.
Well, there's definitely a kid Loki in there, so that's been cast as well. I'm just intrigued. I think it's going to be so interesting.
No, and he's a good lead.
Oh, he's going to be
my point is if they can make all this other stuff good, where like the leads I wasn't as sold on, they'll for sure kill this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, quickly then wrapping this up. What is the order of your excitement for these? We've got the Suicide Squad, we've got Rick and Morty, we've got Loki, we've got Black Widow. So
I didn't even think we talked about Suicide Squad, but Suicide Squad.
Oh, sorry, we haven't.
No, but quickly, I actually really like that trailer.
Dude, this is the sleeper hit for me. This was the point. This is the sleeper hit for me.
Yeah, it was good, and like honestly, I'm excited to see more of Harley Quinn. Like her in the trailer made me excited to like actually maybe go watch Suicide Squad, even though I heard it was terrible.
There's 2 characters who I'm really excited to see, and
Peacemaker.
I didn't think there would be. One is Peacemaker,
the Shark,
and one is King Shark. Like, did you know? Like, we didn't know who was going to be voicing it, and it's Sly Stallone.
Who's that?
Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
I thought you said Sly Stallone.
Sly
Stallone. Okay.
It's Sly Stallone.
Okay, nice. I didn't know that.
Whereas like hand. I love it.
It's like we're all gonna die. I hope so.
Yeah, he's great.
It was
as
like
well.
that was all good. I was like, oh, that was a great comedy.
That dude's in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, he is.
I think
He's in a bunch of shit.
What's his name?
He's
gonna
in-
really annoy me. Oh, there you go. David Dastmalchian. He's Polka Dot Man. Like this
Prisoners.
Is
He's in Prisoners. Is like the weird guy.
Yeah. I think for me this is going to be the sleeper hit. I feel like James Gunn. We've talked about James Gunn so many times.
Well, this will be the test,
makes
right?
Good movies.
This will be the test. What else has he done outside of superhero movies?
Well, let's have a little look.
Yeah.
James Gunn. Where are you, Mr. Gunn? Well, he's mainly like some of his early stuff, right? So he did movie 43, which was bad. I think he just did that for a paycheck. He did one called Super, which is a massive satire of superheroes. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy. Good question. There's not a huge amount.
It seems like he's done a lot of superhero stuff.
Slither. Oh my God, Slither. What a film. So horror, basically. He's got a horror background. I
Okay.
should know this. I can't believe I didn't. And he's done really weird stuff as well. Like he did Scooby-Doo.
Did he?
Like I feel
The
like
original Scooby-Doo?
as in
Like
yeah.
the movie, yeah.
The movie one with
The
fucking
specials.
Freddie
I remember
Prinze
the
Jr. and
specials.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
Like I find it really interesting, but that's kind of Hollywood, right? Like you kind of have to fail.
Yeah, it
upwards.
is how it works. Brightburn, he did that. He produced that. Anyway,
It's
if you had to rank them,
great.
if you had to rank them,
You rank, hit me.
I would rank them
This is hard. These are really good movies.
Loki, Rick and Morty, Suicide Squad, Black Widow.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah.
I think deep down I want to put Suicide at the top, just because it's James Gunn. I've just got a really great feeling about this.
It
movie.
will be good, but I'm not as excited for it.
Loki and Rick and Morty. I mean, it could go either way. They're both. I'm equally as hyped for both these. They're two of the most hyped things for me this year. And Black Widow only goes last because I think it's been on the slate for so long that, well, we can't. It's kind of non-entity. We know she doesn't die in it.
Well,
So where does the like thrill
it's
come
just
from?
going to be really isolated compared to these other ones where like they could go anywhere. Like it's, I still mix. They're all four of them are going to be awesome. I'm going to see all of them. So.
Well, put it this way, right? So Loki is June 11, Black Widow is July, Rick and Morty is June 12, August is Suicide Squad. This summer, well, technically winter for us, but this summer is going to be
good.
fresh.
It should be good.
Dude, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And if there's any news we didn't hear that you've seen, hashtag us on Twitter, #podcastassemble. We'll find it. Cheers, guys. Well, did you speaking of great team ups and the MCU, did you happen to see Falcon and the Winter Soldiers?
Boy.
It's the Falky and Bucky show.
Did you like it?
You did. Look, this is a grower for me. I think we talked about the first episode and we were both a bit skeptical. Like, I honestly think that it's getting better episode by episode. And it's really...
You didn't like the second episode, though.
I think in, like, looking back on it, and what I was about to say was looking at the things like how it's dealing with race is really intriguing me. Like, I am just like, this, it's drawing me in more and more. Like, I watched the third episode and immediately I was like, I didn't care about that. I decided to think about it and the layers into it and how great Zemo was.
Yeah.
And, you know, all the other, like,
he's a good actor, even though he plays the same thing a lot.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
But he is a good actor. He's in, what that
He was
thing,
great in Inglourious.
That thing is intriguing.
Yeah.
What was he in Inglourious again?
He was a sniper in the movie.
Oh yeah, he was the young German sniper.
And he was like he's into the
French
the
Jewish
blonde girl. I found her name.
Yeah,
who escaped a bit. Anyway, great. What do you think?
I liked it. I'm kind of even keel on it all 3 episodes. Like this one wasn't any better or worse. It was just more. I like that. What's his name's getting more agency. The
Sebastian Stan.
Yeah.
Bucky boy.
Bucky boy.
No, it's not. Yeah, it is Bucky boy.
But I'm entertained by it. I like that it's a bit longer. It doesn't feel as like I'm constantly waiting for it to end.
Yeah, okay.
Like the way it did with WandaVision.
You're not waiting for a cliffhanger every time.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think of Zemo though? Because like he's obviously got his purple comic book mask. He's got a lot.
So I don't know his history.
He's got a lot more agency. He's a baron.
He was pretty funny actually, playing like the baller.
Did you see his little dance?
Yeah, like when he was in the club.
Well, you know what's interesting? The writer of this episode also did some of the writing on John Wick.
Okay.
So that's probably
where
a
that
big
club
part
scene
of
came
the
from.
club scene.
Yeah.
And obviously the gunfights as well. They clearly got the right fucking guy.
Yeah. No.
There was an interesting bit as well, and I don't know how many people. I mean, a lot of people will have noticed this, but I definitely noticed it. Right. So you know the scene when they were sprinting away from the club and they were running down the street.
Yeah.
And they were being chased and shot at from all angles.
Yes.
Right. Watch the beginning of that scene when they start to run towards the camera.
Okay.
Because, what's his name? Zemo, he takes a direct right off screen. They're running towards the camera, he goes right. And they clearly go round and meet at the end. It's really fucking interesting. I want to know where he went.
So you think he's like being etched?
He's orchestrating it.
Yeah, he's being etched.
Definitely pulling the strings in this.
Anthony Mackie, though, just continues to bug me more and more. So that's the one thing. Everything's steady state, but him, he's just
I think
steadily going down.
Getting better. Did you like it as well, though, when bloody Winter Soldier just went into Winter Soldier mode?
Yeah, it was cool.
Bar? That was sick.
It's cool. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was fun to watch him fucking not mope around and do some cool shit.
Well, I'm interested because, I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff happening, obviously, in Falcon's head right now. Like, he's got his family stuff, the money troubles. He's obviously going to have to rebuild Red Wing.
Yeah.
He's not a super soldier against a lot of other super soldiers. He's obviously just found out about black super soldiers in the past. He's not taking on the Captain America mantle for the moment. So there's all this going on in his head. At some point, that's all going to have to come out.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. For sure.
I think for me, the frustration from my side, and I think probably what you're seeing as well, is that we're not seeing enough breadcrumbs of that being laid.
Maybe that's it. I also just think he bugs me as an actor.
Sure.
He doesn't, like, the whole, like, you know what typified it was like the in the scene where they're supposed to be like playing a character, like he just doesn't play a character at all. Like he does, you know what I mean? He was supposed to be undercover, didn't do it well. I was like, you're just being this like charismatic dude all the time, and there's not a lot of acting that goes into it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, the things I've seen him in, I've mentioned on here before about a thing called Outside the Wire, which is a Netflix original.
Yeah.
And Altered Carbon. Did you ever watch Altered Carbon?
I did. He was the season 2. I didn't see the season 2.
Sci-fi. Look, he's the same. He's exactly the same in all of them. And I think that I'm just kind of getting used to it. I don't think he's a great actor. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, he's actually, what's annoying is in real life, he's fucking hilarious. You said it yourself. You've watched the interviews.
He seems nice enough. I just don't think he's, okay, yeah. There's not enough nuance to his roles that he plays.
Fair. All right, okay, here you go. So who's the power broker?
You think it's Zemo?
No, I don't think it's Zemo anymore. I said that after the first episode.
I think it's probably someone in the U.S. government.
Ooh.
For some reason.
Interesting.
I do think that.
So I think the new Captain America is going to... Because in the comics, there's a history of that new Captain America taking the super soldier serum to, like, get strong and, like, become a rival to the actual Captain America.
Got it.
I think he's going to go and either take it or try and take it, and that's going to be his, like, arc of becoming bad. Because you can see he's becoming bad already.
Yeah, he's getting fed up with, like, not being included, and I deserve this. And...
I saw a thing that you'd have loved, actually. You know the bit where they break... At the very beginning, the only scene you had where they break into that guy's wherever it is, where he's holding up all the people.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you know who I am? And all I could think of was, like, do you remember the scene in Game of Thrones where it's like, Joffrey's like, I am the king.
I am. And
Tywin's like, if you have to say you're the king, you're not a very good king. I'm like...
Fuck, Joffrey's the worst.
Oh my God, do you remember that guy?
It's the worst.
Anyway, okay. So who do you think the power broker is then? You think it's someone in the government?
I think it's someone in the government or like someone connected to the government. To be fair, the power broker may not be in the government. But like I think that they're trying to do something here, like the U.S. government, that we're not entirely across yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like agree. That, there seems to be something like that they're doing with these
the flag smashers.
So I feel like they're connected to that somehow. Like they're almost like cooing it.
Okay. Yeah. I have a couple of ideas. Firstly, I think it might be. So I have this weird, wacky idea. Do you remember Arnim Zola, the dude who gave Bucky, who experimented on Bucky and then was in a TV in the Winter?
It cannot be that guy, sorry.
I think, well, in the comic books, he becomes an AI, basically.
But that's what they already did.
Yeah, I know, but I just wish it was him. I'd love it to be that.
Didn't they already make him a computer? Like
yeah, but he could have evolved as a computer.
Okay.
He could have evolved.
I don't think so.
I've also got a sneaky feeling it might be like Haley Atwell. If it's not like what you say, someone who's like connected.
Who's Haley Atwell? The one that we just saw?
Yeah, Agent Carter.
Sharon
That's who
Carter.
we're talking about.
Can we just talk about how Sharon Carter was like, yeah, like, well, you guys got pardoned. I had to be off the grid.
So interesting.
And then you thought I was like, and suddenly you just connected to every powerful, dark, like underworld, underlord.
She worked her way up there in the last 10 years.
This doesn't happen over a year.
10 years.
So she just moved to this place. She's like, by the way, I'm becoming a drug dealer.
At least 5 years. But in the snap.
You think they would just trust you suddenly? This person that was an agent. To me, it was a bit ridiculous.
She's clearly worked her way up, and she kicked the shit out of those guys.
It was such a yada yada over this because we can't. There's too much backstory that wouldn't make sense anyway.
Well, there's a couple of interesting call-outs from that episode. So I've forgotten who the person is. What's the person? The name of the person who they were meeting in the bar.
I forget, but the lady.
I'm going to find out her name in a moment. She has ties to the mutants in the X-Men. And also, one of the bars they walk by, they zoom in on the name of the bar, and that bar in the comics is owned by Wolverine at one point, which is really interesting.
So they're really just doing little...
I think they're just giving you little Easter eggs. It's like there's so many Easter eggs in these episodes, it's great. So let me just ask two more questions then.
They didn't amount to much in Wanda.
Do you think Zemo will get away at the end of it? Do you think he'll be free?
I mean, why else would he be helping them? He's obviously trying to orchestrate a way out.
Maybe not.
I think so, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe...
Will he be free or will he get away? I think he'll get away.
You think he'll get away?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get free.
Interesting. All right,
I think, in fact, that he won't be able to get free, and maybe they'll even let him go away.
Ooh.
Because these guys don't, they cross the line a bit. They don't play by the rules. Falky and Bucky boy, they have their own set of rules.
We should do an episode on buddy cop movies.
Yeah, I'd be down, dude. I love buddy cop movies.
And the last question I had, we obviously saw AO at the end, the big spot, the big intrigue. Do you think we're going to see more of Wakanda?
I mean...
Wakanda forever.
Nah, I think this is a singular appearance.
You think?
Yeah.
She's great. She was
awesome.
I
think it'll be not like she'll be the one that is the Wakanda representative. I don't think we'll get like the whole cast.
The directors were talking about like the 5th episode, and this isn't a spoiler. This is just what they were talking about in general, and they were saying that in the 5th episode there is like a big emotional impact moment, like almost like a character who's going to come in and it's going to almost
maybe it is Chadwick Boseman then.
Could you imagine if it was Chadwick?
That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
It'd be hard to not leak that.
Don't think it will
since
be.
Then.
But nothing's leaked from this, if you've noticed. Like this is the first one. I feel.
I just mean like that would be a hard thing to keep.
Yeah.
Keep the lid on.
Agreed.
Anyway.
But did you enjoy the episode? In terms of the episodes, the 3 we've had, which is your favorite so far?
Probably 3rd, 1st, 2nd in that order.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I did very much enjoy Zemo in this one. His dancing is
Zemo's he was a good little added character. I'm rich. Yeah, I was he played the rich guy pretty well.
He did, and I mean he is a baron, so you'd hope so. All right, well,
do we want to talk about our main topic?
Do you want to talk about the main topic?
Yeah, our main topic theme.
Do you want to
Tommy.
give us the theme?
No, I already got to you first. You have to do it, dude.
Main topic theme. Let's do this.
So
I was talking to my brother the other day, and he was like, "Oh, I might make you a main topic at a theme," and I was like, "Please, God, do it. That would be fucking hilarious. I'd love if anyone would send us a main topic theme, so we don't have to sing it every week. But I mean, I'd love it if you do your own variation. Don't just do main topic theme the way we do it.
Yeah, of course. Because ours is original. You need to make your own.
Yeah, come on, guys. Get some originality. Well, what's the main topic then?
We went and saw, God knows why, King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Well, that tells you what you know what Dre thinks about this movie.
We saw King Kong vs. Godzilla in theaters, which, for me it was free, so I can't really complain because thank you New South Wales government.
Well, look, thank you New South Wales government.
Yeah.
From my perspective, we've not had like said this previously, we've just not had the cinema experience for so long.
It was
I'm
nice.
Dying for
It's nice to get a nice Coke and some popcorn and chill out for at least 2 hours and 10 minutes? What was the runtime?
A long time.
Yeah, it was a long one. But
not as long as the other one though, I don't think. Not as long as
Snyder cut. No, but
is there ever nothing is that long again? Jesus. Yeah, so we saw Godzilla vs. Kong.
We did.
Let's get into what we thought about it. Do you want to do our
stupid summaries first? Yeah, mine I threw together. Let's see what you think about it. It's a bit longer.
Wrong answers only.
It's a bit longer.
Go.
Scientology seems to make a comeback in this celebrity death match where Hollow Earth theory is accepted science and a monkey holds his own against a nuclear dinosaur. Either that or some Hollywood writer had way too many edibles while going way too far down the YouTube conspiracy theory rabbit hole. What's going on in this movie?
That's great.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Oh, and you put that together in like a minute.
Yeah, sometimes
the crazy
you just strike gold. Anyway.
You want to hear mine?
Yeah.
All right, okay. So mine is the Truman Show sequel that nobody wanted.
Because of the fucking beginning.
Picking up directly after the original, but with a confusingly hairy and older 2021 Jim Carrey. The film then turns directly into a Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
In this universe, after he leaves the studio, however, Truman realizes his own celebrity and comes into conflict with the next big thing before joining Hollywood for a remake of Journey to the Center of the Earth. not featuring Brendan Fraser. He came back. I told you he'd be back.
By the way, fucking, what happened to Mate? Sorry, I cut you. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. And along the way, he realizes that there's another more sinister corporation at play. What did happen to Brendan Fraser?
I don't know. I forgot that he was in that. That's why I didn't get your reference. He was in that movie. That was probably the last movie he made. And that was good. I really liked the Truman Show bit.
I appreciate that.
The Truman Show bit was good because it's like right at the beginning, Kong throws this fucking... you're watching so Kong, you think he's in Skull Island, and then like apparently he is in Skull Island, which makes it even more confusing. But he throws a spear at the like sky, and it breaks this like Truman Show style bubble.
Yeah,
because they want to confine him to Kong Island.
What I think it is like when you look outside of that, and I don't think it's a spoiler. You can see that it's been battered by the elements, and I think what it's trying to it's some big like allegory for like global warming or whatever. I think it's a case of
you got that from that. Man,
pretty
Tommy's
much.
a heady bloke, guys.
Like pretty much.
I thought it was just like they were trying to contain his like
no they are
Titan radar.
No, they are.
Is that what you call it? Titan radar?
Yeah.
Because they can all just sense each
Godzilla's
other.
radar. Yeah. Well, it seems to be able to fucking sense everyone. Godzilla. Yeah. Well, what do you think of this movie then?
Look, when you go to a movie like titled King Kong versus Godzilla, you got to know what you're in for. But it still surprised me with like how cheesy and ridiculous it was at times.
Yeah,
but
we can get into that a little bit. I think maybe actually let's maybe wait a bit for spoilers, but just to set the scene for this, right? So this obviously picks up pretty much directly after Godzilla King of Monsters, and there's a bunch of throwbacks to it in there. In fact, the entire opening credits is going through the monsters that they've each killed. This was directed by a dude called Adam Wingard. So he did The Guest. Do you know The Guest, the movie? It's like a horror movie.
I do. I have seen that.
And
it's a good movie.
He has announced, and I'm actually really excited about this, he's announced that he's going to do a Thundercats remake.
Didn't we talk about this?
No, I think we briefly brushed on it.
We didn't actually say this needs to be remade.
No.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by this, though, because he wants to go for some... So he's basically said he doesn't want it to go the way of cats. He doesn't want it to be like humans. But he doesn't want it to be completely CGI either. So I'm like, what are you going to do?
Avatar?
Mate? Oh, yeah, that's not a bad shout. There's 3 more of them coming. Fuck, we just need more movies like that. But this is smashing the box office. This, in its first weekend domestically in the States, got 32.3 million, which is, the best since the pandemic.
Did? Really?
Yeah. It's doing really well. Pandemic. You don't have all the stats,
the ratings
obviously.
are good. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, people want to see big fucking monsters beat the shit out of each other.
I could like to be, and you're saying like, let's not spoil. I don't know what you could honestly spoil in this movie.
There's some bits later on in the movie.
Like, what is anyway?
Well, we'll get into it.
General thoughts, man. Millie Bobby Brown underutilized.
Well, you know what? I was gonna say, like, usually we go into the actors in this, and I just have one note that just says I hated all of the human characters.
Yeah, they were tough.
I hated them. And they even cut them right down. If you watch the last movies they did, it's so much about these human characters. I'm like, I just don't give a shit. And what's interesting is they've really cut them down and they still annoyed me.
I love like the manic scientist guy. Like he's just manic all the time. And
which one?
The bad
Scars guy?
The one that's like the Hollow Earth theorist.
Yeah, the bad Scars guy.
Yeah, so he's just like, so manic. And every time he has like this inspiration, like he'll have like a stroke of genius, and it's like he says the dumbest shit after. It's like, we just need to fly into Hollow Earth. And you're like, this is not scientific, and you sound stupid.
Yeah, he really fucking did. Like, but I think that's a problem with these movies. They try to do this quasi scientific nonsense. And it's like, I don't need you to do that. Just be like, the big fucking gorilla went into the middle of the earth. The movie would have been fine anyway. Yeah, like there's a bit at the end. I don't want to spoil it. There's a bit at the end when Godzilla finds a way to get to the center of the earth, and it's like, fuck it, like that's all I care. Like, you don't give me a big MacGuffin way to get there. Just get there. Anyway, so Kyle Chandler, I can never say his name right. Apparently, he was Millie Bobby Brown's dad. Horribly underutilized. Fantastic.
Horribly
actor.
Underutilized. Love that guy.
He was in 2 scenes.
Millie Bobby Brown underutilized. They gave that one guy, the conspiracy theory guy, much runway, and he was never funny.
So there are 3 simultaneous plots going on in this movie with human characters. There is Millie Bobby Brown's character, who has the kid from Deadpool 2 with her for no reason.
Who has a New Zealand accent, like heavy.
And she joins forces with a dude who's a conspiracy theorist who works for the big evil corporation.
The big evil corporation that is doing bad things that we can't talk about.
He works for them, and they don't realize he has this podcast that a lot of people listen to. Doesn't make sense.
They would totally know. Yeah.
There's a second string to this, which is Some of the scientists from the King Kong Skull Island. There is a female and a child who are basically taken on by the bad Skarsgård to go to the center of the earth. And then there's a
They're
third,
like the Kong Whisperers.
Yeah, the Kong Whisperers. Okay, well, so we've got the Godzilla lovers, the Kong Whisperers, and then we've got the Evil Corporation.
Yeah, Evil Corporation.
And the
guys.
Evil Corporation is the most tropey cliche shit I've ever seen in my entire life. It's a dude who literally has like a jacket draped over his shoulders.
Yeah.
And a bad accent. It's like, I mean, it's
Pedro Pascal, man, from
it's
Wonder
so
Woman
hammy.
84.
It's
Yeah.
not good though.
Neither was Wonder Woman 84, but
This is very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are our three point of view areas. We then also have Godzilla and Kong, and they fight.
often.
That's pretty much the full movie, right? That's it. We can go home. Yes,
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of funny how they kind of tried to add in all this like lore in the beginning. Like, the Titans and like newspaper.
They've been doing that all the way
every
through,
movie,
though.
yeah.
And it's honestly like I think it's an
happened-
interesting allegory for the whole thing's obviously an allegory for what we're doing to the Earth.
Yeah.
And like Godzilla's supposed to be the thing that comes and brings everything back to the status quo. And I found that very interesting. I just don't think they're doing it in a particularly interesting way.
What happened with in the last movie that made Godzilla King of the Monsters? By the way, I didn't see this one.
You missed King of Monsters.
Yeah.
He fights King Ghidorah, which is the 3-headed dragon thing.
And it just comes out of
apparently
nowhere.
it's supposed to be an alien.
Oh.
So in the last one, Charles Dance, funnily enough, going back to the guy, which
Okay.
is my favorite, Charles Dance. Let the games begin. He finds a tech. I told you this. We talked about this in the last one.
Oh, did we?
Him and Millie Bobby Brown's mother create this technology which can control. I'm using massive inverted commas and rolling my eyes. Control the Titans.
God.
And he uses it to bring them all out of their slumbers, basically, to wipe out. It's one of those classic, let's wipe out humanity and go back to the start storylines. Yeah. So he's skipped in this, and Millie Bobby Brown's mother, I've got a name, Vera Farmiga. Fuck knows.
Millie Bobby Brown
She's
is
killed
like
off screen.
20 lines. Like max.
She's killed off screen. It's boring. Yeah. You know what? I was all for less human characters, but they basically take all the annoyance of the human characters in all the other movies and just condense it into these tiny. And I'm like, this is a child who is running away with an adult. This is not right. Something is strange about this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And why didn't her dad notice at any point?
At any point. Like, there's so many dumb things. But the CGI was good.
CGI was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. I thought it was incredible. I haven't seen anyone on the credited as being like the they do the dots things for either Godzilla or King Kong.
I don't know.
But they were unbelievable. That's probably some of the best CGI I've ever seen.
I'll say this, like the CGI was awesome, and I don't know if it's the best I've ever seen. It's hard to like judge them one by one.
In terms of monster movies set in the daytime.
Yeah.
This is some of the best.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. The crazy so the tonal difference between this movie though and the original Godzilla that I saw that is apparently set in the same universe.
Yeah.
So different.
Well, the original was
different. Like this knows it's tropey and cheesy.
There's a huge tonal shift in that in the original Godzilla movie that we got in 2014, I think.
Yeah.
So that was very much about suspense and building up, and you see glimpses of Godzilla. You barely see him through the movie. Whereas this is just like, this guy's sick. Let's put him on camera all the time.
And I just didn't understand why they thought they could take him on these like aircraft carriers and like Godzilla wouldn't find them. Like they knew.
Let's talk about that when we get to spoilers.
They knew they would.
Let's talk about that when we get to spoilers.
Okay.
So, what do you think the tones and themes are of this movie? I've touched on the whole.
Can we really do tones and themes of like King Kong versus Godzilla?
But there is that undercurrent of like global warming.
It can't be. I didn't even get.
It's not as campy. Now, let me give you a bit of trivia. I'm going to skip to trivia just really quickly. It's not as campy as it could have been. So the original Godzilla vs King Kong, and I fucking love this. So this is pretty much word for word. It was made as a comedy, and it was satiring the development of Japanese TV industry and the controversies that it generated. It was essentially the ratings war between different TV companies.
Oh yeah, it was like a satire.
It was a massive fucking satire.
Television ratings.
And I'm just like, you could never have pulled that off in this movie. Could you?
I mean, maybe you could have. I don't know.
What's this satiring?
No, I'm saying it didn't. But
is this Netflix versus Disney Plus?
Yeah, you could have done something like that.
HBO MAX in
the
background?
Like honestly, it was campy enough that they could have done that.
It was pretty campy. All right, well, there aren't many tones or themes then. What are your three best and worst? What did you actually like about this movie?
I liked the CGI.
Yeah.
I liked.
It's tough.
I liked commenting on the ridiculousness of it with you in the theater. That was fun. There's like surely a theme, and it's like what would you say the theme is? Like we skipped over it. The theme would probably be like fucking know your place. Like don't overreach. Too much power is bad.
Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've said that a lot recently. Yeah. Okay.
All
Yeah.
these
Okay.
things, I don't know. Anyway, what did you like? I don't know.
I'm trying to think of worst things I liked. So yeah, CGI was incredible. Like, let's be honest. I liked that they tried to downplay the human elements. That was, for me, that was an absolute fucking.
But they were
must.
still there. There was a lot of it.
They were there. Oh my god, they were there.
Like the whole kid thing. Like that actually that one wasn't as bad as the others, but like the kid learning to love Godzilla or
it's like
King Kong.
It just does that. None of that stuff works for me. I like that.
What else can you like
you know
about
what?
this movie,
I genuinely really liked the fight scenes in this. I thought they were interesting. There was a genuine sense of weight to it. Like when they were fighting, like King Kong wouldn't just like he'd have to wind up and
it would fucking. You were like tense during them.
Yeah, you were always on your edge of your seat. You're like, shit, like this could be the end for one of these guys. And like they said there was going to be a clear victor. I think there was. I liked that. Now, let's not spoil it just yet.
Okay.
But I genuinely think there was a clear victor in this, even though it did fall down to the Batman versus Superman sort of.
No, I agree.
Show.
I think there was a clear winner.
Okay, worst. Hit me with 3 bad.
Dude, dialogue.
Dialogue was
Plot.
bad.
Like, never base your movie on like Hollow Earth theory as a central part of the plot.
That's very true.
That's a fucking lose-lose. And just that fucking the conspiracy guy that works for the bad corporation was so annoying. Dire. He was so annoying. Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
I don't know if there's
I thought I thought Asian Pedro Pascal was a terrible bad guy. He was just so bad.
Yeah, he was. His daughter was super hot. That's one of the things I liked.
True. She was pretty hot. Where did she come from?
I don't know.
Did she die at the end of it?
She did die.
She died at the end of it.
Spoilers, but
I mean, so what? I'm almost spoiling this anyway.
Yeah.
You're right though. Like I thought, the fact that it was so thinly like veiled, like, oh, it's an age old battle between lizard and ape. What the?
It's
fuck?
like I kind of like don't mind that because it's like it didn't take itself too seriously.
True.
In that sense, it was like, yep, Hollow Earth, get with the program. Yep, they the Titans, they've been here forever. We've known about them, and they fight. They always do. Like they're just like you're here. You're not here to hear me explain this bullshit lore. You're here to see the fight, which I did like that.
True. I think my last one then was that like. This had so many like contrivances and tropes from bad movies, and a prime example of this is there is a part where Millie Bobby Brown, why do I keep thinking influencer? That's the wrong word. The podcaster
11,
and the friend they jump in this pod and it magically takes them to Hong Kong, and they go through this one building and they go through the evil corporation and through another building of the evil corporation. Zero security.
Yeah, like never.
I'm like, this is the biggest trope. You just need to progress the story.
They
like,
always do that though. Like all these movies do that.
Have them caught immediately, and then just walk them through and have them see everything.
Oh yeah, all these movies do this.
They're not just going to shoot a kid.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I can't accept that there's like I know too much about the world. There's more security than
nonsense.
this. Yeah, it is absurd.
All right, look, let's do the final, my favorite question of the night. Like, is this better or worse than Aquaman 2018?
I think it's worse.
Ooh. Really?
For me, it's worse.
I think it's better.
I don't understand how this movie was.
I think at the time when I was watching it, there was a lot of eye rolling. There was a lot of, this. But I came away with it thinking. Let me finish. I came away from it thinking, if I was just sat at home on my sofa watching this, I would have a lot of fun. Whereas I would never have that with the Aquaman movie. The Aquaman movie, I'd just be like, yeah, whatever, it's happening. It's there. Whereas with this, I'd be like, I'd be on my phone, I'd be checking Instagram, and then I'd be like, oh my God, they're fighting again. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, and then I'd zone out, and I'd just mute the human scenes.
I give you that. But like, I thought
it was fun.
I just care about like character-driven story. Not that Aquaman is. but it's more. It's more.
And I agree. But this was just big dumb fun. And
it is big dumb fun. That's the way to say it.
Yeah,
that should have been your stupid summary.
Yeah.
Big dumb fun.
Big dumb. I like that you called out the celebrity deathmatch. That was a good call.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it didn't even need a stupid summary. The King Kong versus Godzilla. That is what this movie is. So they summarized it more quickly and eloquently than I ever could.
But not quite stupidly.
It's true.
All right. Okay. Let's jump. Spoiler time.
Yeah, spoiler time. Man.
Okay, great. So. This was actually the big twist was actually spoiled for me before the movie because apparently
it's pretty obvious though. Like
the Mechagodzilla was in some promotional materials in Asia, and it was like I would have liked that to have been. I guessed everyone can fucking guess that's what's coming.
It was pretty clear that they were heading that way. I
would have just liked just one time to have been surprised by something in a movie.
Yeah,
you know.
Fair enough.
But still, what do you think of the Mechagodzilla?
I didn't care. By that point, I was like, I just don't care. I just wanted to see them fight more and see who was going to win. And then, so who's to you the clear winner on three? One, two, three. Godzilla. Yeah, for sure. Obviously,
three.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
And Godzilla would have won.
Yes, because he is a nuclear,
way bigger and powerful.
Yeah. Well, I like that they weren't too concerned with like the size of them and shit, because obviously, like in the last one, Godzilla was way bigger than in this one.
Was he?
And King Kong would never have been able to grow that big that quickly. It just would have been nonsense. So they just scaled him down a little bit. And that's fine, but I didn't mind that as long as it's like a fun fight. So
how big was Godzilla before? Fucking
when
huge.
You see him in that first movie, he's ginormous.
Yeah.
Well, obviously they have the first battle on the boats, and that's when he wins it for me. So I have the battle on the boats, which is actually in all the trailers. And he
wins it twice then.
He's obviously going to win that battle because he swim real good. Monkey don't swim so good. We know he's not a monkey.
Yeah.
We get that, but he obviously wins that fight.
Yeah.
And then they go away and they fight again, and Godzilla fucks him up.
Like really fucks him up.
Like bad.
Like he had to be zapped. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember in the movie when that was one of his. That's my point. That was one of his stupid ideas. The mad scientist. What has a large electrical charge? I'm gonna supercharge his heart. Like, oh my god, dude.
That's one of the contrivances for these movies. It's like you're like, so he's been using that for a long time then. No, he just started using it 20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago.
Right. So
he knows how to convert it
then. No, he'd never seen it until 20
in fact, he just wrote a book about flat Earth, and that's why he's involved.
He's
driving the thing.
And he's also
I was like laughing with you in the movie theater. They're like, Godzilla basically kills King Kong. And they're like, we need to like bring his heart back, so we need a big shock. And he's like, I'm gonna shock him with this weird vehicle that they go to use to get to the flat Earth.
Electric somehow.
It's electric. Anyway, he's like, I'm gonna shock him. And I'm just turned to Tommy like, what if it just burned him to a crisp in this moment? And they're like, oh fuck, well, guess we're fucked.
I just had a mental image of like, do you know Joe in Home Alone when he gets electrocuted and you just see flashes of his skeleton?
Yeah, that's how I was thinking. Just like that, he just burns, and then just crisp, like crispy Godzilla. Yeah, I was gonna be like, that'd be fucking. And
that would have been.
He's like, well,
the perfect
only because he said it with such gravitas, like he knew what he was doing, and then like it doesn't work, and he's like, well, you're right, I did just only write a book. I have no idea what I'm doing.
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So the basic flow of the movie is they need Godzilla. We should have started with this, to be honest. They need King Kong to go to the center of the earth to find an energy source so they can power their Mechagodzilla, but we don't know about the Mechagodzilla yet.
Which made no sense, which is why we were like, why do they need to go to the center of the earth? It made no sense. Well, but they were saying like, we need to give them a home. That was the premise.
That's where they all... But in the last one, you find out that that's where they go to recharge. So I don't necessarily know about King Kong, but Godzilla goes down there to charge because apparently it's very radiated with.
But they gave him like fair enough. But they gave him like a reason for like getting King Kong there. And I think King it was Kong like they needed to have a home for King Kong.
Yeah. So the reason they gave King Kong to go down there was they were like, oh, you might have some more family down there. So eventually he goes. They obviously have the scuffle on the boats. He goes center of the earth. He meets Brendan Fraser. He does meet Brendan Fraser.
I wish. That'd be interesting.
And what's interesting is at that point, Godzilla then flips and goes, he realizes that someone's fucking with that territory. And just like nuclear breaths directly to the center of the earth.
He drills down through the Earth's core.
Dude, get that guy.
Why did you need all this other shit?
Don't worry about Bruce Willis in Armageddon.
Yeah.
Get Godzilla. Just put him on the fucking asteroid.
And if it was that easy to get to the center of the earth, why did we need this fucking converter?
Crazy.
or whatever they were using.
What I also found interesting. All right, so then Godzilla, King Kong comes up. They have another fight. Godzilla then wins again, but at this point we're introduced to the Mecha. Well, we're introduced proper to the Mecha Godzilla, which is being controlled, right?
Mind controlled.
Well, what it is it's some like telepathic link between himself and a human who is using the telepathic skull of King Ghidorah.
It didn't really make sense
which
why
is
they needed all that.
fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
But the worst bit is the skull then fries the guy, and then the ghost of Ghidorah
it takes over.
Because it's a fucking skull. It's not like they're keeping it alive on a drip.
Yeah, it's not like he's like it's not even like the soul. It's like literally a bone.
Complete nonsense.
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense.
So
and then you've got the classic like Batman vs Superman that I talked about before. They then have to team up to be the bad guy. And it's not a troll from the Lord of the Rings this time, unfortunately.
No,
it's just a big metal. Because I mean, like I posited to you that it could be the original Godzilla that they've made into Mechagodzilla like they do in some of the old materials. Whereas no, it's just a big metal thing. So what's interesting is the same people, obviously they're in the same company own King Kong Godzilla, but the same company also owns Pacific Rim. So I would fucking love to see a movie.
I'm sure they will, dude.
With Pacific Rim guys versus this. That would be sick.
Because they don't really care about like continuity of story in this at all. They're just like, let's get these guys.
If you said to me, Godzilla and Kong versus what are they called in that? The kaijus?
I don't even
My
remember.
man, I'm sold. I'll give you all my monies. I'm like, I'm going to see that any day.
Fair enough.
Just having a sip of my old water over here. What did you think of the axe thing then? So the axe was a big MacGuffin in this story.
Honestly, it was kind of cool.
It was kind of cool.
King Kong needed an axe.
You needed to level the playing
keep up.
field.
Yeah. I like that. That was one thing I was going to say that was good. I liked that it was made out of like a spike of Godzilla's back. The axe point. So it was almost like one of his ancestors had made this from killing one. Does that
imply that previous ancestors have fought and one's killed the other and has used the thing?
For sure. And made it into an axe. And I thought that was kind of cool.
It is. It is kind of cool. It was a little convenient.
Yeah, surely.
You might say.
Very well. This whole fucking movie was a big convenience.
Oh, the whole thing. Yeah. Convenience after convenience. I liked the axe. I thought it was good because it showed him building towards it almost. Like he was obviously throwing the trees like spears at the beginning, like we're talking about in his Truman Show, little bubble.
I love that. Like the good thing is there was an axe that was.
Yeah, I mean, well, you fucking needed it.
Yeah.
Well, then, I mean, like, I'm intrigued to know.
Where do they go with this from here?
Well, that was actually my final question.
Yeah.
But like, what do you do? Like, you have to bring in some bigger, badder monster.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, are they going to keep fighting?
I mean, what's the history say? Is there like a lot of these movies they just fight different monsters?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So like I said, King Ghidorah is technically from space.
Okay.
So they could bring another one down. Like, we don't know how many of these titans there are. Like, there could be fucking millions.
Yeah, they would just keep doing it, I guess.
Just give us another titan.
Yeah.
Which one's going to fight him this week?
Yeah.
Oh, this time it's Godzilla. Ooh. So, isn't it a bit weird as well that, like, when he uses the atomic breath, he's always doing it down one of their throats?
He really wants to breathe in.
He really wants it to go down the throat, doesn't he? Like, that's a bit creepy.
Like he's about to just really mess him up.
Yeah, that's a bit creepy, isn't it? Ooh. Well, then, are you a bit sick of the... So I'm just going back a step here then.
Yeah.
Are you sick of the shady businessman trope like I am?
Shady businessman trope?
Like...
I mean, like, yes, and mainly because, like, dude, shady businessmen aren't trying to, like, take over the world that way. They, like, slyly just make a lot of money. They're not trying to create these monsters.
Just own the world.
Yeah, they're not trying to create these monsters. Like, shady corporations should only be shady when they're like trying to protect themselves from like being destroyed.
Agreed.
Like some government, like in fucking what is the show we did recently on Amazon, The Boys?
Yes.
Where like they're trying to protect their own interests, like because if they don't, they'll be put down and everyone will lose all their money.
Yep.
Like that's interesting.
And I find it really
it's real.
Like, and from my perspective, humans having a weapon that could, at least protect us from these crazy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
It's not a dumb idea. Like, that's what we'd be doing. We'd be going, all right, how do we protect ourselves? Other than going underground where he could just nuclear breath the ground.
No, it makes sense from
Like,
the premise.
it makes sense. So why is he a shady businessman? Why isn't he like
Normal businessman.
funded by the government?
Yeah, like
You know?
normal dude.
All the
With
shady
this
people
military
in this have
grant,
got,
like that would actually be a more interesting story.
yeah,
Because
the
like
government
you
is
could
having
dive into the politics of like military spending and shit like that. Yeah,
exactly. But then you'd probably get people complaining there's too much.
who fucking cares?
Yeah, I know.
People fucking.
But then you'd end up with Transformers, which nobody wants a second round of. Michael Bay, Godzilla versus Kong.
God,
That would be
this is a Michael Bay style movie. Isn't it?
disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know if what do we have any correspondence? What do you want to go through? I think there's not a lot of, for a 2-hour movie, there wasn't a lot of density to this one. So I don't know what else we can cover.
I think from my perspective, it's just stupid things that that I'm just like picking at and sort of asking you your opinion on. I think another one is like, so when they go down to the center of the earth, they pick up the energy reading and they transmit it back to the surface. And then they recreate
as
it?
if that would be really easy. Yeah,
is that how energy works?
I remember when it happened. I was thinking about that. I was like, she's like, we got the reading. I'm like, so now you just have the energy.
Like what?
Yeah, no. This movie was chock full of that stuff. Like you just kind of start to accept it. You know?
Yes.
Like you start to accept it because you're like, okay, like this is the way this. When you get into a movie like this, you're like, I'm suspending my disbelief because none of it makes sense. Yeah. But you're right. There was this dumb thing after dumb thing like that.
I think going into this movie, you genuinely just have to say to yourself, "This is Godzilla versus King Kong." Like, don't expect any grand notions on life or the earth or the universe.
Well, how about like the fact that this guy literally wrote a book on Hollow Earth that no one accepted.
And that's all.
And then the guy came in who knows everything about Hollow Earth, has actually created all the tech to do it, and is like, I'm vindicating you. You were right. Like, now join us. We need you. Seems like you don't need him. No. You did everything without him. In fact, it was so dumb. And then he's like, your brother died because he didn't like reverse.
Everyone has a dead family member in this movie.
Yeah, seriously.
Everyone has a dead family member. So Millie Bobby Brown's dad died.
Yeah. You mean his mom?
Mom died. Sorry. Yeah. The podcaster's wife died.
Yep.
The dumb scientist's
brother
died. Everyone. The kid who not even spoken about, who's somehow taught Godzilla sign language secretly.
Had a family die. Yeah.
Her whole tribe died. Yeah. It's like, guys, like, calm down. What are you going to kill next? In fact, in fairness, the next thing they killed was the entirety of, was it Tokyo? No, Hong Kong. They killed the entirety of Hong Kong.
Well, are you just saying that because...
No, they killed Hong Kong.
Because they just destroyed the
There was nothing left. It wasn't Godzilla versus Kong. It wasn't Godzilla and Kong versus Mechagodzilla. It was three titans versus the city of Hong Kong.
Dude, there's like no skyscrapers left, that's for sure.
There was nothing
also,
left.
Like, I feel as if like they go through these skyscrapers really easily.
So easily.
Like, there's a lot of rock and like fucking cement and shit. I guess they're big, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, they're supposed to be like... Aren't skyscrapers supposed to be built to withstand, like, earthquakes and stuff these days?
Yeah, but like, still, I guess this is like a massive amount of muscle we're talking about.
That's absolutely fair.
Yeah.
And they are literally pounding the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
What did you think
that
of
that would hurt as well, though, like just punching a skyscraper.
I mean,
punching...
I'm never going to know.
It's like if you punched a... wall.
Done that. I broke my hand.
Like a solid rock wall, though.
Yeah, I broke my hand.
Yeah, like that's what they're doing.
That's what Godzilla would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, do you think he broke his hand a few times? He definitely hurt his shoulder.
Surely.
He had a boo-boo on his shoulder.
Did he?
Yeah.
At some point it was like broken, wasn't it?
I think it was because...
No, that was King Kong had the broken shoulder.
Sorry, King Kong. Do you see he did the Lethal Weapon thing where he just like slammed it into a building?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure he stole that from Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, is it Riggs or Murtaugh?
It was pretty badass though. I liked it actually.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, when you get past, like, if you can just get over the nonsense of this film, it's actually quite enjoyable. And I think
I can't get over this much nonsense.
Okay,
I can't do it.
Okay, because that's absolutely fair enough. Because I quite enjoyed it for what it was. Like, I couldn't watch it again, not immediately. Give me 5 years when I've got over the trauma. I will then have it. It'll be on in the background. I'll watch it. Like I say, while I'm doing my.
I get it. There's just there's so many like character driven, well thought out stories that I haven't seen on my watch list. That when I go into one of these movies, I'm like, fuck. When they don't put any effort there, I'm like, oh, do these guys deserve my time?
And bro, we're watching it for the podcast, so you've got to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. I was forced.
It makes fucking funny conversations. That's my favorite thing about it.
You know what the problem is as well? Because we saw it in theaters. Like, I'm not going to like take notes in the theater. So I'm forgetting all the funny things that I was like thinking about. I should have put a little bit more thought into that, but it's hard.
I don't know. We had 2 weeks in between. So we actually watched this before we were going to record last week, and then we took a week off. So we had a long time in between.
Dude, I swear to God, I went into work and I was like, the next day, I was like, I think I'm dumber.
Yeah.
Like, guys, bear with me. I was on a call. I was like, I saw like the dumbest movie last night, and I literally haven't recovered. My brain is a bit dumber from watching it. Like,
so good.
Yeah, it was fucking. I literally used that as an excuse.
My IQ dropped after watching
I used it as an excuse. I was like, I think like I need to like take a break.
Amazing. It was. Look, if you are willing to watch a movie called Godzilla versus Kong. You know what you're going into. Yeah, so it's not Aquaman. It's not confusing you by pretending it's got a good premise with a good actor. It's just a monkey and a lizard beating each other up.
Lizard is really
hard.
Yeah, really harsh on Godzilla.
Really
lizard.
Real strong.
That's ruthless. You know what it did make me do though the other day? Looked up dinosaurs. Crazy.
Oh shit.
Just got in a dinosaur hole. So I was like, these things are fucking crazy, man.
Love dinosaurs.
How much would you? I think we talked about this the other on this weekend. How much would you give? Would you give everything in your bank account to like see what it looked like the Earth when dinosaurs were around? I feel like you have to.
Everything.
I think you have to.
Everything.
Yeah, I would.
You choose it. It's yours.
Yeah.
Like I would just like
to be able to just see it like. Safely, obviously. All right, so I don't want to die a gruesome death by their bone-crushing jaws.
Perspective. I was playing Cards Against Humanity just the other day. It was long story, and there was a card which was a little boy who won't shut the fuck up about dinosaurs, and that was they just gave me the card. Yeah. And I was like, all right, that's me.
Was that you as a kid?
Love dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs.
Yeah.
One of my first vivid memories of being like a very small child was going to one of the London museums, the British History Museum, which has this ginormous dinosaur exhibition.
That's awesome.
And there's a part of it when you come around a corner and they have this animal. This is back when I was like, this is like 20, 30 years ago. Maybe not that long, 25 years ago. And they have this animatronic T-Rex head.
Yeah.
And T-Rex babies are animatronic as well. And it moves and it roars at you. And it's fucking incredible. And I've always just been in love with. I love them. They're great.
Never forget.
Jurassic Park, one of my all-time favorite movies. We have to do that at some point.
Yeah,
we have to talk about Jurassic
Gail
Park.
was trying to get me to watch it again, so
well,
I can get her into it.
I think one of the MOs of this podcast is to talk about maybe slightly dumb shit. So perhaps we could talk about Jurassic World instead. Or Jurassic Park 3.
I'm down for any of them. I saw Jurassic World recently, but
did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
That honestly wasn't as bad as the one after that one.
Jurassic World 2?
Fallen Kingdom or whatever it is. You haven't even seen that. There's one after Jurassic World.
No, Jurassic Park 2 Fallen Kingdom.
There's literally Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, and there's one after that.
Who would win? Who would win? If you downsized Godzilla to the size of the T-Rex and put them against each other.
Jurassic Park T-Rex. Obviously Godzilla's got.
Damn it! I really want the T-Rex to win.
Nuclear fucking breath. Or whatever.
Nuclear man.
Yeah,
he's back. All right. Well, thank you guys for sticking with it. That was our sort of semi-review of Godzilla versus Kong. Dre loved it. I hated it, obviously. We do have just a tiny bit of correspondence this week. Friend of the show, Matt, actually fired us over a question. He said he was going back listening to our episode about video games.
Okay.
And he asks, because obviously this is very much in your ballpark, he asks if you'd ever considered or played Dead Space.
I haven't. I have considered it. I haven't played it. I think I was about to buy it and then I didn't. But it's like, if I like The Last of Us and I like Resident Evil, it's for sure one I have to play.
It's very high on the list.
Yeah, I've heard that it's really good.
Yeah. And so the first and second games, they're
it's
very
like Alien
similar.
Almost.
Yeah, they're sort of like what do you say about Resident Evil, where you have to deal with your inventory and stuff?
Yeah, it's like inventory management, sort of like true survival horror. Like, does this shot count?
True survival horror in space.
Yeah.
With almost like the alien sensibility of that foreboding, like with kind of zombie-ish feel to it as well. It's got everything. It's phenomenal. And like
I love when I can easily kill an enemy with the gun I have, but I like have to consider like, should I? Or should I take this risk and try and use like a melee weapon or run around it or hide or sneak? Yeah. That's the kind of game I like. It's great.
Yeah, and so there's 2 of them you can play. I think there's a 3rd one as well, but apparently it's not as good. Apparently they just stripped out all of the things that made Dead Space good. And
usually the 3rd one, like if the first 2 have been good, they don't fuck it up. That's crazy.
And one thing that I actually got sent by a friend of the show. Sorry, I don't have the name of the friend of the show in front of me, but actually links to our podcast. Did you hear that IMDb has removed a bunch of negative reviews for Godzilla vs. Kong because people are apparently neg bombing this movie because they want to restore the Snyderverse?
So they chose that?
It's the same studio, essentially. So, yeah, which is
that's fucking hilarious.
Fucking stupid.
I think it's funny. Good for them.
Legendary Pictures, yeah.
It's a bit rude, but
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Fucking Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a bit rude to the people that made Godzilla vs. King Kong. Like, they have nothing to do with.
It's true.
But like, I actually think it's funny.
Well, anyways, friend of the show, Matt. Thank you for the question. Really appreciate it. If anyone does have any other questions, where can they find us?
thepodcastassemble@gmail.com.
You can also hashtag us on Twitter. Find us at #podcastassemble. We'll find you.
Yeah.
Thank you all for sticking with it. We really appreciate it.
We'll find you.
Thank you, Dre.
Thank you, Tommy. Have a good one,
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.